Hello, everyone, and welcome to our online info session for Python Fundamentals and Python Advanced at Ashton College. My name is Lindsay, and I'm with the Marketing Communications team. Today, I'm joined by several colleagues. We have CJ as our technical host, Maggie from admissions, and we have our instructor, Alaa. There are a lot of ways to engage with us during the session, and we love hearing your questions. On Zoom, you can use the chat box, Q&A box, or the raise hand function. If you are tuning in on Facebook Live, you can leave us a comment, and we will be able to answer your question live during the session. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can leave us a comment or connect with us by email at ceinfo@ashtoncollege.ca or give us a call at 604-891-1256. We also have a toll-free number, and that is 1-866-759-6006. Awesome. So for the first question, thanks for joining us, Alaa.
Hi. Hi, everybody. How are you, Lindsay, today? And how are you, everybody, again? And I'd like to first introduce myself. My name is Alaa Alakari. I'm a data scientist and a certified computer IT instructor. My academic qualifications includes Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering, Master of Science, and recently PhD in Data Science. I spent this significant part of my career teaching students and professionals in various computer programming languages, and I helped many students to find their path on IT industry, and also professionals who want to improve their IT skills in their existing professions. Throughout my teaching career, I delivered a numerous number of computer programming courses, in particular Java, C++, and recently Python. I discovered my passion for teaching and training in IT industry early during my master's degree, when I had a chance to be a teaching assistant 20 years ago. That's what was 20 years ago. So I started teaching the undergrad students computer programming skills, and I delivered a numerous number of workshops on computer programming. And also, after I gained my master's degree, I started teaching as a profession at the post-secondary level in several colleges and universities. And finally, I start working at a professional level on Python during my PhD as a data scientist. And now I'm pursuing my career as a Python instructor. And here I am today.
Awesome, sounds great.
Yeah.
So can you tell us the importance of learning Python? And why should someone learn Python, especially when there's so many other programming languages?
Yeah, that's really a very good question. I mean, I face this question every day. I mean, why you need to learn Python? Why it's Python? But I believe there are numerous number of reasons for learning why everyone should learn Python nowadays. But I would like to share the screen right now. So why Python? I mean, this is a very good question, but I can give at least 6 reasons for everyone that works nowadays that he needs to learn Python. The first one, and this is the most important reason. Python is the language, the computer programming language for now and in future. And it has been officially ranked as the #1 programming language in 2021. It outperforms Java and C++ and other languages who dominated this field for more than 20 years. So now Python become a trend, and it's become a must all-in-one tool that everyone should learn, even if they don't have an IT background or computer background. The other important reason is the career opportunity nowadays and the job market. The demand for Python is increasing every day. I mean, even if you go and Google it, you see the statistics shows that all the jobs related, IT-related jobs requires Python as a tool you need to use in your work. Other reason, and I find that this is a very motivating reason for students, it's simple and easy to learn. Unlike other programming languages, I mean, like C++ and Java, which they have some complexity in writing code, Python is different. It's simple, easy, and it's like when you write an article or something, you write your sequence of code. The other reason for Python to go back here is it's free and open source. That means you don't need anything, or you don't need to purchase any license or any complicated software to install it. A few steps and free, and you can practice Python or work with Python even online right now. I mean, there's no need to install any tools. The other one, it's the huge community support. Nowadays, people who are Python professionals or Python developers, they have a huge community support, active support, online support. So wherever you go, you find a library, specialized library in your work, you find people that they can help you. So this is another reason. So it's spread widely. Finally, I can say that the application diversity nowadays for Python, when you learn Python and you master Python as a tool, or I call it sometimes a DIY tool that everyone must have. The application diversity. Wherever you go nowadays, health sector, finance sector, and any kind of business, you find that Python has a huge library support for that business. So the application diversity, web development, app development, wherever you go, what kind of profession you find, there is an application for Python there. So those are the main 6 reasons. Although there are other reasons, but I'm just, to save time, I'm just showing the main reasons for why we need to learn Python nowadays.
Those are great 6 reasons why.
Oh.
They're great. So then what is the roadmap for learning Python?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Python, it's not just one step. I mean, we go through a course and we finish our lab so we can start our profession, but there is a roadmap here we need to go through in order to master our programming skills, and we can, after that, we can implement it in our existing profession or wherever, or even if we start our individual business here. The roadmap here contains, I believe, there are 3 steps we need to go through in order to do that. Even though there are some examples, real life, some real examples for people who start even with one course and they start their profession. But in order to go smooth here, the 3 phases for learning Python starts usually with learning Python fundamentals. So in Python fundamentals, you need to learn the core concepts of programming in general and in Python in particular. You need to learn how to implement math functions, read, write, data types, lists, dictionaries, and everything. And finally, you end up by writing a simple scripts after you finish this course. And the students usually, when they finish, they pass this course, they can feel and sense satisfaction because they see the amount of code that they wrote after they finish this course. So after the finishing this track, there are another track called Python Advanced. And this advanced track, we learn the complex concepts and how to build the big picture for the application and projects and the real life projects. Finally, there are another track. This is dedicated for Python elite or Python professionals. So in this track, usually the candidates, they choose their track here. So some candidates, they prefer to work for web development, others as a data analytics, gaming, automation, finance, health sector, whatever. So they choose a professional track. This is the default or the usual roadmap anyone who wants to learn Python need to follow. Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds like there's almost an infinite amount of industries you can join with when you have these Python. Yeah. That's awesome. So who would you say would benefit from taking these courses?
Yeah, in fact, Python, the beauty about Python, it's not dedicated only for people who has a background, IT background, but it's for everyone nowadays. So there are 3 types of candidates usually fit this course. The first one is college and university student without IT background. So usually when they start their work nowadays, they require to write some amount of programming or some amount of code. So the preferred tool used is Python. So this course, Python Fundamentals, is dedicated for these kind of students. The other type of candidates is the people who want to change their career. I think, as you know, everyone knows that nowadays everything is IT related, and any project, if you want to implement your own project or your own business, you need to use a computer in some form. So the main DIY or main tool or all-in-one tool you need to learn is Python. So those are, if you want to use as a changing career, so Python is the best tool for you. The third type is the people who has an existing profession, for example, a financial analyst, for example, or a project manager or a product manager or a data scientist. They need a programming tool. So this course is dedicated for them as well. So those are the three types of candidates usually we expect to see during this course.
Perfect. Yeah, anyone that works with a lot of data or numbers, Python would help them automate their workload.
I call it all-in-one tool, a must-have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what is the general structure of the course, and what are some course objectives of Python Fundamentals?
Yeah, that's a good question here. For this course, it has three main objectives. The first one is to learn the core concepts of programming in general and Python in specific. The other objective for this course is to allow the candidate or the students to learn the various data types used in computer programming, and the complex, simple data types and the complex data types. And also to learn file operations and input-output operations. And besides that, the candidates needs to perform math operations and functions. In order to see the big picture of this course, the students or the candidates required to write basic Python scripts by the end of this course. So there are here, as we see in the course outline, which is this course is a 40 hours course, and 39 hours for this course, 3 hours a week. The candidate expects to go through 7 main components here. First, if we take it in detail, the course outline will contain learning Python basics, and then we go through Python, understanding Python control structure. After that, we go for data types, complex and simple data types in Python, and the candidates will perform also input-output operations, file operations, math operations, and finally, building the big picture by writing the basic code that contains all the previous 6 components.
So I see math operations. So does someone have to do well in mathematics to be able to? No, okay.
To the contrary here. I mean, when we say about math operations, that means we will be using built-in functions. That means the students at this level is not required to be a master on math in order to perform that, but only to use the built-in or the ready functions on Python to performance on everyday task.
Perfect, awesome. So could you describe your teaching style for us?
Yeah, I mean, my teaching style here, it's due to the due to the requirement of this course. My teaching style here is a problem-based teaching. That means the students here need to, I used to teach the concept, and I relate that concept to a real life problem in order to attract the students' attention, in order to let the student understand that concept. I relate all the time to a real life problem. And the other one, I use the continuous engagement approach. That means every time when I explain any programming concept, I use the mini code challenge, something called mini code challenge. That means the students need to practice that concept on their machines in order to make sure. And during that challenge, I try to see or try to discover what mistakes the students they do there, and I try to rectify that situation. Finally, after learning a few concepts, I try to mix all these concepts together in a big picture and make them solve a complex problem. So in general, my teaching style is problem-based learning. So we learn based upon to solve a specific or certain problem.
So you were talking about you call it the mini code challenge, right?
Yes. Yes.
Does that happen during the class, or does it happen after and then the next class?
So mini code challenge, it's 5 minutes, exactly 5 minutes challenge we used twice or 3 times during the class in order to motivate the students to apply that concept in practice. I mean, they practice that concept. So we usually use that.
Perfect. And then you're right there if they have questions, which is awesome.
Beside that, we use also something called a homework, a weekly homework that students, they take that homework and they work on it during the week. And here I'm expecting the students or the candidates to spend at least 5 hours, from 4 to 5 hours, practicing that homework and trying to solve that problem. In order to give the students the maximum chance of learning, there will be a dedicated web forum for the students to share their thoughts together and with their teacher as well. And we try to rectify any problem they might face during the week.
Perfect. You've kind of started to answer this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway in case you have more to say about it. So what are your expectations of students who enroll in the course? How much time will be spending on assignments and reviewing the material outside of class?
Yeah, I mean, for the, as I said, there are different kinds of assignment. The first one, it's a mini code challenge. This needs to be done during the class or during the session, which is 5 minutes, takes 5 minutes usually. And in some cases, a few cases, it takes more time. The other one is the assignment. And this assignment should be done on a weekly basis in order to practice more and more on Python. And the final one, which shows the student and make the students feel feel the achievement of that course, is the course project. There will be a dedicated course project for each candidate, and they start early. After few lectures, I assign every student a project, and they need to start that project. And after, by the end of this course, the student, they will feel that they already gaining something from programming when they see the amount of code they write in this project.
Can you give us an example of what someone's project may be?
Yeah, I mean, for example, students, I ask a student to write some code for inventory control, for example, or for sales, point of sales, for example, or other to design a graphic interface, or to solve a real problem related to their work. So before I assign the project, I ask students about their preferred background for that work. Some students, they prefer to use their existing profession in their project. So I give them a chance usually. In case if they don't have, I try to assign them some projects. The amount of project and the requirement for that project, it will be delivered early when we start this course.
Perfect. Sounds like something good for them to have for their portfolio and show future employers.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So can you tell us about the learning platform and any required tools needed for the course?
Yeah, this is a usual question. I mean, when you learn what kind of tools do I need to install in my machine, this is luckily in Python, we need just to install something called Python Core. So Python Core, it's available for all platforms, Windows, Mac, Linux. It's the same thing. It's 5 minutes, a step that takes only 5 minutes to just click and install. We will be using also another basic tool called idle. And this idle, it's like a terminal to write the code. And we will be having also another tool called PyCharm, which is Python Charm, we call it. This is an integrated tool. I mean, I let it to the students, I give them the choice if they want to install it or not. But the main requirement for this course is to install Python Core, which is just takes 5 minutes, and idle terminal to write their code. So it's very, very simple and straightforward steps to install. And there is no restrictions here. It's free, open source, and everyone can do that. It's like installing an app in your mobile phone.
Perfect.
Yeah.
older laptops able to handle it, or will they slow the computer down too much to use?
You can even use your mobile phone, your iPad,
Oh,
whatever. I mean, even if you
awesome.
could, even if your machine is very, very old, you can use even online. You go to the browser and you just get the Python compiler and you write your code there. So there is no, the minimum requirement here is just have a laptop or an
Awesome.
iPad or a mobile phone. I mean,
So it's extremely accessible. That's
it's
awesome.
extremely accessible by everyone.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So then what kind of job opportunities are available for students who specialize in Python?
Oh, this is very, very interesting question here. I mean, answering this question, there are numerous number of jobs available for Python developers, but I'm just listing here the top 10 only available nowadays. But it's not just 10, it's tens of jobs available, tens of job titles available for people who has Python skills. I'm just listing here the top 10s. The first job title available, and there is a huge demand for that, it's a software engineer. And this job specifically, it's for people who has an IT background. As you see in this chart here, and this diagram here, we have jobs on blue and another in green. Here, the jobs in blue are oriented only for people with qualification on computer science or computer engineering. But the other in green, those are oriented for people who has no IT background, but they just learn Python. For example, web developers. Nowadays, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, web developers was people with computer science background or IT background. But nowadays, web developers, if you learn Python, you can be a web developer, whatever your profession. Another job, which is there's a high demand for that, it's called Python developer. That some firms, they ask for people to write a Python code. They don't require someone with computer science background, but they ask for a background under that job, but you have this tool as an extra tool. Another job called DevOps engineer. That means development and operation. So this are mainly oriented for people who has a complex operation in their work and they want to develop some Python code. Another job called research analyst. So a research analyst is anyone on any field who work on research field and he needs a programming tool. So these are research analysts. They ask nowadays for Python as well. So are you able to write Python code or not, beside your job? Another job, but this is specifically for people with computer science background, it's called data analyst. So this is, you must have Python as a tool to get that job. Business analyst and product management also is required nowadays. And this is for people with no IT background. Also, we have data scientists. This is a very sophisticated job and requires people with IT background, but at the same with the computer science background, but at the same time, they require Python as a must tool. Finally, and this is the trending job for the coming 10 years, it's machine learning and artificial intelligence engineers. Python is the tool you must have. Without this tool, you cannot get a job. Whatever your qualification, you need to have a Python to do your work. So those are the only, I'm listing here the top 10 jobs. But if you go online to any website here to look for jobs, or you will find another titles, but those are the trending jobs nowadays.
Wow, that's a lot of opportunity. That's awesome. Yeah. Perfect. So then how much can students expect to make after they graduate? Obviously it depends on if it's a computer science background or not.
Exactly. This is a very interesting question. I mean, on the Canadian market here, I checked it myself. I mean, I see it every day here. Minimum, I see the minimum payment, a yearly payment for, or that Python developers can make when they start their profession on the first year, they expect to be 77K per year as minimum. But this goes for data scientists, as you see number 9 and number 10, and machine learning might goes to 200,000K per year.
Wow.
And this is, you can find it on big tech giants like Google, Facebook, Amazon. Nowadays, they ask for those kinds of engineers, and they make up to 200K a year.
Yeah, NASA uses Python too, I believe.
Yeah, wherever you go. Now you find Python on, I'm expecting even in the next few years that you find on preschool and elementary school. They will teach the student this talent, and it goes to NASA as well.
That'd be awesome. That'd be very helpful for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. So you've mentioned this a little bit, but is there a lot of interaction during the classes? Is there a chat box function or a discussion forum for in between classes as well?
Oh, yeah, this is a good question. I mean, nowadays, you know that learning online or taking course online becomes the trend nowadays. So having this, it will be very basic. We will be having chat box during the session, and we will be having a web forum to be used during the week. So to discuss, to allow the students to share their thoughts, because learning Python is a teamwork. I believe it's teamwork. It's not just a solo learning that you go by yourself and just learn. You need to interact with others, share your thoughts, ideas, how to solve a problem. So there will be a web forum dedicated for this course to allow the students to engage to each other and share their thoughts, concerns, and with their instructor as well. And on this web forum, I will try during the week to answer those questions. And also there will be direct contact with the instructor. I mean, you can email me, for example, they can email me if they have special concern or something, what to do. The same thing also, we will be having some online resources we'll be using as well. I mean, this is to help the students to gain extra benefits from the course.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what does success look like in this course, and how can students help themselves to succeed in the course?
There is one golden rule here. I mean, in order to succeed here, don't memorize, don't take textbooks, just practice, practice, and practice. This is the main goal, and the only rule that you need to follow. It's practice, practice, and practice. By the end of this course, you will see that you will be the students will see that they will feel their self-satisfaction when they see their projects finished and the amount of work. So this course will be in order to succeed in this course, you need to practice, practice, and practice. That's all. No need to memorize. It's not just passing a test or just getting a grade here. Just practice. So in order to gain that, you need to practice during the week and during the course.
Perfect. So I have a few questions left. Before I ask them, I want to pass the mic off to Maggie so she can talk about admission and some other course details.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. And Alaa, thank you very much. That's a lot of useful and very effective information right there. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie, Admissions Officer for Ashton College Continuing Education. Python skills are most valued in the job market. It is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. And there has never been a better time to start learning Python, and the best place to start is with a Python course at Ashton College. We offer you both a Python Fundamentals course and a Python Advanced course, and these courses are designed to provide you with practical Python skills that you can immediately apply to your career, and these are live online courses. The Python Fundamentals is an introduction course that will start on October 13, 2021 till January 12 of 2022. Webinars will be held on Wednesdays from 4 till 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The registration fee for this course is $995 and no admission requirements. The second one is we have the Python Advanced that will start on October 12, 2021 till January 11, 2022. The webinars will be held on Tuesdays from 4 till 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The registration fee for this course is $995. No admission requirements. However, the Fundamentals course is recommended. You can just register yourself online, or you can contact me for further assistance at 604-891-1256, or for more information, please email us at ceinfo@ashtoncollege.ca. Thanks, Lindsay. Back to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Maggie. Awesome. So Alaa, So do you have any students who are brand new to programming or who are perhaps changing careers from something radically different?
Actually, in this fact, this course is for those who has no background at all. So brand new students are welcome to this course. In fact, this course is specially customized for their needs. I mean, to teach the programming principles. So in order to join this course, you don't have nothing, only you need your machine and your brain and your efforts to start Python, that's all.
It sounds great. I would love to do it. It sounds awesome.
It's for everyone, actually.
So how has the industry changed during your years of experience?
Yeah, I mean, comparing with my 20 years experience, I mean, on IT sector, I mean, I just recall my early days when I graduated from the university and I start my programming career there. At the time, I mean, it was the programming and application development was only dedicated for people who has a degree on computer science. But nowadays, again, it's changing. Everything is changing nowadays. Nowadays, tools become easier, accessible, easy to learn. So that gives a chance even for the others to master these skills, programming skills. And the other thing, back days, 20 years ago, I mean, those tools were complicated, and even before you graduate from the university in computer science, you need to learn at least 3 or 4 languages, programming languages, in order to use them combined to solve a particular problem. But nowadays, these things are changing. You can use one tool, all in one tool, to help your needs. Specifically talking about Python here, Python offers now, by year of 2020, Python has more than 160,000 existing library to help you to solve your everyday needs or to fulfill everyday needs, starting from finance, health, web development, automation, 5th generation, networking, security, whatever you say, you will find Python there. So it's all in one tool here.
That's awesome. So it sounds like Python, you don't even need to necessarily learn Java or C++ if you are, that's awesome. But would learning Python help you learn the more complicated languages as well if you wanted to go that route?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about myself here. Me as a data scientist, I mean, just in the last 5 years, I rarely use any other languages. I mean, I have other languages like R and Java. I use them sometimes in some cases because I have familiarity with that. But mainly I use just Python. And try to imagine that me as a data scientist, I use only 4 libraries only from those thousands of libraries available to solve all my research and data analytics needs. I use only 4. So wow. Imagine that what you can do by learning Python. And the beauty about Python here, you don't have to go through all these libraries. You just pick the library that you want to use, and there will be a few steps you do in order to implement that work.
Wow. And the community is always active in creating more, like adding more to the libraries, correct? So it's never ending.
It's give and take actually approach here. So because of the community support, many people, Python has the ability that you take or you use an existing library and you enhance it and refine it. So for example, if you use data analytics library, some people, they used to put some enhancement and then they use back. So it's expandable and it's flexible. So you can expand your existing, the existing library on the time. That's why every day we see updates from experts and people in every field.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the last thing I have to ask you is, do you have any final words or words of wisdom or advice that you want to share with us before I look at any questions we have?
Yeah, I mean, I have one advice here for students who wants to pursue their career or to work to use Python in their existing job here. Is there is only one golden rule: practice, practice, and practice. That's all. No need to memorize. And also, there is no standard textbook on the market that you just go and memorize. They say, I'm become fluent. The only one thing that I advise everyone is to continue practicing. And also I can personally tell many success stories I have seen before. I mean, last few years, I have many friends that use Python nowadays, even though they don't have a professional background. One of my friends who has a mechanical engineering background, now he works as a Python instructor. So you said, how is that? I mean, if you said that 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you cannot believe it. But nowadays, everyone can engage, everyone can go to the field, play, and contribute.
That's awesome. Wow. CJ, do we have any questions from Facebook or anything?
Hi there, everyone. Great info session so far. Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, we do have a question from Facebook. So the question is, if I want to start learning more about Python before I take this course, do you have any books, magazines, or movies to recommend, or blogs?
When we will, in the next few weeks, there will be a list of, I will be preparing a list of recommended online resources that we might use. And here we need to be careful because from my personal experience, I've checked many textbooks and many online resources. They said that learn Python in 5 days, learn Python in 10 hours. Don't believe that. But there are some official and credible resources that you can use. So don't use every resource. You need to be careful here. That's why I'm preparing a list for recommended online resources that you can have, go through these resources and use before the course starts. Even though it's not recommended, but I mean, it's good to have this, I mean, to start it before to go through it before you start the course. So here we should be careful because I've seen many, many examples of those fake learn Python in 10 hours and 3 days, many things, or in just one YouTube video, learn everything about. Don't believe that. There will be a recommended resources, online resources you can use. For the textbooks, I don't usually encourage the students to buy textbooks because textbooks usually are dedicated for those individuals with a computer science background. Usually I prefer that to for the students who participate in this course to go through a few online resources in order not to complicate things, because many resources you can find they are contradicting with each other and they show different approaches. So in order to avoid that, just go to a few of them and you will be better.
Maybe we'll put a few of your recommended resources in the description of the YouTube video whenever you supply us with that. Perfect. So I believe that's all the questions, CJ?
We do have one more
Perfect.
from Facebook Live. So the question is, if I have a family emergency or I need to miss class for any reason, can I access a recording of the webinars?
Yeah, I think that's no problem with that. I mean, I don't think the regulations will prevent that. I mean, there will be two ways here, either to have the recording for that class, or you take the material, because even if you go through the material, you can try to do your mini code challenge yourself as well. So there will be no problem with that. It's flexible, I mean. However, I mean, during the week, you need to achieve the minimum accomplishment by going through this material. I mean, if you lose a track for that week, sometimes because things are building up during the course, so you need to follow up. So I don't give restrictions that you need to be on the online at all time, but at least you spend 5 hours to do your homework, and you have the chance even during the week to contact the instructor if you want to more explanation or something, or some concerns about this material. I'll be happy to help.
Perfect. So thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any more questions or want some information, please email us at ceinfo@ashtoncollege.ca, or feel free to give Maggie a call at 604-891-1256, or please check our website, ashtoncollege.ca. And thank you everyone for joining us. Have a great day.